Hello and welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, thank you for stopping in. We would love it if you check out that subscription button and click it. But for those of you who are oldies but goodies, welcome back. So today we are going to be doing another foundation find. I love going to Sephora and just getting samples of foundation and testing them out on my face. So today we have just that. Right here in this little bag, I have a sample of the Benefit Hello Happy foundation. Now this foundation has two different sizes. The standard size, or the larger size, is $30, and then their mini, which is like half the size of that, is $15. I have right here number 4, I think is the shade that they gave me. It didn't have a lot of shade variety, so for my deep sisters, I don't think this is a foundation that's gonna work at all. I don't think I saw any. Sadness. But nonetheless, we're going to go ahead and test out this foundation. I've been trying to seek for the best foundation for my skin. Now, just to put that out there, my skin is normal to dry type skin, and then ever so often I might sweat and get oily, or I might use like a very luminizing primer that will make me look greasy AF. In any case, today we are going to try this out. This claims to be a medium coverage foundation, and it also claims to be lightweight, and it's supposed to disappear into your skin so that you have a flawless look to you and that you won't be able to detect it. So we're going to test that out. In my fashion, I usually go in with a beauty blender on one side, a brush on the other side, and today I'm going to be using some of my favorite products. So this one right here being my Juno & Co. microfiber sponge. I love this thing because I feel that it doesn't absorb all of the foundation. And then this brush from It Cosmetics, which I just love the way it's shaped. It might look dirty, and I just like the way it buffs out. So two of my favorites. Let's go ahead and get this started. So this is the pot, and I'm really hoping there's enough in here because I don't know how quickly this sets or how much product this will allow me to apply. I'm gonna go ahead and I think I'm just gonna put it on the back of my hand because I find that that's like the best way. Now it's a thick consistency because it's not coming out very easily, so that's one thing. It's not runny or anything like that, so it does take time for it to come out. And I'm gonna go ahead and take my beauty blender, dip that into it, and then start on my face. I'm gonna start out on the right side of my face, and as you're seeing, it is covering. Now I'm gonna go grab my mirror because I don't know what I'm doing because I can't see. So the color seems to match my neck. I do have a very pink hue to my skin. At least my face is very pink in comparison to my body. Anybody else have like two-tone body? I see other people and they're like even, and I'm like, how are you so even? And I'm just like 10 different shades of colors on my skin. So there you see, this doesn't really absorb a whole lot onto the sponge. It does really place it back into your skin. I wet this sponge and it feels dry. Why it feels dry, I have no idea. So it does feel like it's a medium coverage so far, especially with the sponge. It is a very thick foundation. This has SPF 15, so I'm wondering if it will oxidize on me. I hope that it doesn't because it looks like it is. All right, let's go ahead and put some more on the back of my hand so that we can work it out with the brush. So I got some on the brush, and now just gonna stroke that on. I usually just go in a downward motion first on my skin. I find that like if you have a hairy face, going downwards is the best way, just because if you go upwards, you kind of, your peach fuzz comes up and then just doesn't look super neat and clean. So I'm one of those girls who has like a lot of like furriness to her face. So I got like peach fuzz face. So I go downwards. And then I would, usually I would go over my foundations with a stippling brush so that I can see it dry down. But this dries down pretty matte from what I can tell. I'm liking the coverage that I have with the sponge a little bit more than the coverage that I have with the brush. I can see some areas that are missing foundation, and I just know that I have to go in with like a second application. So I'm gonna go ahead and start doing that again. I'm putting it on the back of my hand. So far on one application, I don't think there's, I mean, you do get medium coverage, but I think a better coverage, ooh, I think I put a whole lot this time, is, so it is buildable from what I just saw. But I think a second application would be optimal in my case, where I really like a full coverage foundation. That you can really make this full coverage with that second application, especially if you're heavy-handed like I am. So I hope you're seeing how that looks on the face right there. I'm trying not to get this on my earrings. I think I've already got it on my earrings. Some decent coverage. Okay, and then I'm gonna go ahead and use the remainder bit that I have there on my hand with the brush. I think I am gonna pour just a little bit more, because I feel like with the brush it kind of like it absorbs it. Not that it absorbs it, but it grips to the bristles of the brush, and therefore I'm not getting the coverage that I want with this brush, which is weird because most of the time this brush does nothing but great things for my normal foundations, but they're a little bit more runny than this one is. This is a little bit more tackier of a foundation. I feel like with this foundation, you don't need a whole lot of primer to keep it in place because it just feels tacky on its own. So this is the coverage with the brush, and overall I am liking the foundation because I do like that it's buildable and it doesn't feel heavy on the face. Putting it on, it does feel a bit like thick and tacky, but then once it's on, it kind of doesn't feel like you have a lot of plaster on your face or you have a whole bunch. I do think that the shade is just a tad bit off for my skin tone, but I mean, once I brighten up with some concealer and all that other good jazz, I think it's gonna work out just fine, because then it just gives me a little bit of a bronzier look, and then when I highlight the points in the middle, it'll just look fine. So far so good. And I kind of always say this when I do like a first impression, I kind of do know if I'm gonna like it or if I'm not gonna like it pretty early on, just because I know what type of things I like on my face. And I like a foundation that looks like full coverage and that can stand on its own. And I like that this, even though it feels like it's matte, it does have some areas that it gives that little bit of satin to it. And this is supposed to be a brightening foundation, so I think it's doing its job in that sense. I kind of like it. I would have to give it a thorough try and see how long it stays on my face, or if it's gonna crack, especially like I get cracking around the lips or areas like that where it could just get a little funky. I would have to pay attention and see that. If I do see any of that, I will drop some information into this video and let you know how it went from wearing it. I don't know that I can do a wear test with it because I don't know what I'm going to be doing today, but if I can, I will try to stick that in to this video. If not, this is it, and I do like the way it looks upon first application. So go ahead, leave me your comments, let me know what you think about this foundation on my skin. I know it does look a little off, but yeah, it feels good on. So Go ahead, like this video, go ahead and subscribe if you haven't done so already. Become a member of my GonzFam, and as always, from my house to yours. Love ya.